All right, you guys, give me like 30 seconds. All right, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Town Biz. So, um, I decided I'd go live with this one. I thought I was gonna do a video originally, but I didn't know how long this would take to get this point across. So I thought I'd go live with this one and have a discussion. So, Terrence Howard recently revealed on a podcast with Bill Moore, a guy that I am not very fond of. I don't like that dude at all. I knew he would show that he was um, a liberal, fake liberal racist, because that's really what he is. But nevertheless, he was talking to Terrence Howard, and Terrence Howard had basically dropped some bombs. And I'm going to break this down. He basically revealed that they wanted him to originally play Marvin Gaye. That's funny. They wanted him to play Marvin Gaye. Well, Lee Daniels, that is. And he basically turned it down. He said, well, basically, he had a choice to play either Smokey Robinson or Marvin Gaye. Smokey Robinson handpicked him to play him in a movie, which I think he should have played Smokey Robinson, because he has the same skin tone as Smokey Robinson. You know, both of them are light-skinned guys. And he said basically he was approached about playing, slang singer Marvin Gaye, who was unfortunately shot to death by his father, who happened to be a cross-dresser. And Terrence Howard said one of the scenes required him to kiss a man, because now they're coming out saying that Marvin Gaye, well, he was what his last name was. But now the project was going to be directed by Lee Daniels, which I'm no fan of Lee Daniels, and not because of his lifestyle, just some other stuff he said. He said something that was just very disturbing that bothered me, and I was just like, oh, okay. So since then there has not been no Marvin Gaye project. Marvin Gaye motion picture has been in limbo for years. Last time I checked, his children has oversight over any potential Marvin Gaye film. And last time I checked, they were saying that Dr. Dre was trying to acquire the rights to the Marvin Gaye film. And he prematurely reported that he had secured the rights, and his family came right back and said, no, that's not true. And keep in mind, Marvin Gaye's children sued Robin Thicke and Pharrell for the song Blurred Lines. Is that what it was called? Claiming that Robin Thicke had an obsession with Marvin Gaye, and it was kind of weird, but they was awarded $6 million in damages. But this poses a point that I'm about to make that bothers me. Hollywood just really has this obsession with black men and wanting to put them in alternative lifestyle situations. If you look over the years of just certain films, it's just like being force fed to you. It's just like every other movie they have to have, especially mainstream, they want to have like a gay black man. This is why some black men in Hollywood have this thing about, well, I don't want to wear a dress. They are at odds about the dress thing. Now, let me tell you something, how I feel about the dress thing. Um, I see it a little different now based off what the agenda is now, to emasculate and homosexualize black men on film and television and in everyday life. This is what I was talking about, what I meant about that you see a lot of straight shaming. And anytime you have a difference of opinion, you can't even have a civil conversation with people from the rainbow community without it turning into, anytime you don't uh, bow down to them and figuratively get on your knees, sometimes literally, um, you're called phobic. Anytime you have a difference of opinion, you're called phobic. And that's the damn problem. Just because you refuse to do something doesn't mean that you're anti. That's just it. How did phobia turn into, how did preference get replaced with phobia? And this is what they do. They try to harass and shame black people about everything. And then you have some black people that will follow suit and compromise themselves just so they don't get quote unquote canceled or ridiculed or, get a public scolding, when you have the right to have a preference. I remember, don't y'all remember a while back when you had the transgender person on the reality show? I don't know what it was, with Genuine, and this person tried to grab Genuine and kiss him, and then people called Genuine transphobic, when case in fact he was actually being sexually harassed by unwanted advances, but for some reason Genuine was vilified. So now you have to kiss somebody even if you don't want to. But this is what happens in our community. We let everybody bully us. We're everybody's go-to target. Just like now you got Latinos sitting up here talking about that they're upset with Ryan Coogler because he didn't have no Hispanic representation in centers. I'm gonna say this again, y'all asses wasn't there. And where is this thing where everybody think that black people have to carry everybody and that we have to help everybody? This is why we need to tell these people that be always talking this people of color stuff, and that these people are our allies, and they're really not, because you see anti black racism with so-called people of color. You just seen that Indian lady allegedly in Pinot, who constantly was calling that black lady the N-word. Now allegedly she was fired from her job, which I'm gonna speak about that in a separate video. It's always been this thing with everybody feel like they can pick on black people, but black people, you have these panderers that sit up here and say, oh, no, they're our brothers. No, they're not. They're not. They're not. They're not our allies. They're not even really, for the most part, our friends. It's very few. It's a difference between having a friend and an ally, because friendships can easily break, can, friendships can easily stop. You can basically stop a friendship over the slightest little thing. An ally is somebody that's willing to go to war with you, that's willing to fight with you, and worst case scenario, die with you. We don't have that. There ain't no other group out here that's willing to put their life on the line for black people. That's complete cap, and it just need to be said. But black people, where we went wrong is always caping for everybody and defending everybody, and going against other black people that were saying, hey, hold on, hold on, man. You know, stop stop, stop with the hamburger helper hand. Stop like extending your hand to everybody who not extending it back. We don't get a lot of reciprocation, trust me. That's just real talk. Now, like I said before, people don't mind using us, studying us, profiting off, but just like in China, they corner in the market on black hair, getting their hair, getting dreads and doing their hair like black people. But a lot of them don't even like black people. We got to stop thinking just because people emulate us, they like us. That's what Ryan Coogler was trying to explain on Sinners. That vampire was full of shit, acting like he just wanted to everybody to get along and be one happy vampire family. But at the end of the day, he really wanted to steal dude's thoughts. So basically he can culture appropriate, his style of music into his and call it his own. But then again, he a vampire. You shouldn't believe anything a vampire say anyway. Honesty is not their best policy. Deception is the well, I don't know if she originally from the Bay. She was in the Bay Area, but she allegedly been fired from her job as a banker, and she's not supposed to be a nurse. But I'm gonna talk about that later. But getting back, excuse me, I'm eating. But getting back to what Terrence Howard was talking about, they always try to pull this stuff. What is the infatuation with wanting to see black man in this? What is the infatuation with wanting to see black man on screen? Basically, have a love or sex scene with other men. And that's why I question people like Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is supposed to be this so-called Christian, but if you watch some of his shows, that is heavily displayed in a lot of his films, and particularly with black men. So this is why a lot of people say that they are pushing the agenda. So when Terrence Howard was saying, "No, man, I'm not kissing another man on screen," but this is what they always do. They always try to shame black people, and particularly black men. All this stuff is done intentionally. Everything from the athlete, where they want the mother to be the representative, be the spokesperson of the family. See, when it's the father, they have a problem with that. They don't have no problem with the mother being the spokesperson because they want to keep this stigma and stereotype going that black men are absentee fathers, which is complete BS. But that's the stigma and the movement that they want to push. They want people to believe that when that's not factually true. And it was did intentionally. You look at any other situation where something, whether it's good or bad, whether something tragic happens or something good happens with a non-black person, you always see the father there, and they always come to the father first. Even in the household where it's a two-parent household, they always try to talk to the mother first. And that's another reason why they didn't like guys like Barry Sanders to a certain degree, and why they was mad that he told the Detroit Lions to kiss his ass, he retiring, because his father was very vocal. America has always been scared of the educated and smart and vocal black man. I don't even know who Honda Rhimes is. I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who you talking about. But I'm talking about Terrence Howard. There is an obsession with trying to emasculate black men on films. and on television. They're really pushing this movement through the black community. I'm gonna say this again. I don't have no problem with you if you live an alternative lifestyle. As long as you don't try to push your ideology on me, it's fine. I'm not sitting up here worried about what dude have in his bed and all that kind of stuff. I don't care about what other people are doing. But at the same time, when you sit up here and try to force feed something on somebody, people are calling it out, and then you try to look like, oh, you guys are the problem. Because to me, it's just too much straight shaming going on with black men. You're not seeing them ask these white boys and the non to participate in alternative lifestyle activities on film, but they have this obsession with trying to get black men to do this stuff. Now I'm gonna say this: the black man. Let's talk about the black man in the dress situation. I'm gonna tell you right now. At first, I didn't have a problem with it because I did think it was art and I thought it was comedy. But then somehow along the way, post something different. Those men with Wesley Snipes, John Leguizamo, and Patrick Swayze, they were clearly, gay, but they were trying to be funny. Even though that was, I wish Wesley Snipes wouldn't have did that role, because to a certain degree, his career kind of like started to alter afterwards. Because Wesley Snipes was that dude. You was watching him in movies like Passenger 57 and and then all of a sudden it was just like a shift. Like people didn't see Wesley Snipes the same way after he did To Wong Fu. Now he went on to still had some hit movies, but you started to see slowly but surely his career start to falter, all the way to the point to where he wasn't even doing theatrical movies anymore. He was doing a lot of made for video movies. But you started to see it. And I bet you if you ask Wesley Snipes to this day, do he regret doing it? He probably would say, yeah. Martin Lawrence, Big Mama's House, same thing. You saw the comedy in it. I understood Jamie Foxx doing Wanda and then Martin Lawrence with Shanae. But then, like I said, you started to see a shift. It was like it was art at first, but then you started to see a shift where they basically started pushing this as a movement, agenda, and then targeting black men. And then if any black man didn't comply, they were trying to blacklist them, or they were trying to say he's difficult to work with. We all know who runs Hollywood. Two type of people run Hollywood: the people with the small hats, and then the people from the Skittles community. They're very, very pivotal in the Hollywood movement. So this is no surprise. And this is why a lot of actors sometimes have just basically distanced themselves from mainstream Hollywood and started doing stuff on the independent circuit. This is why I like what they're doing in Detroit with the Detroit movement, where they're doing a lot of movies based in Detroit. The dudes like Kamel Diesel Hassan and Kamal Smith and Crystal the Doll and people like that. I give them credit for that. They got the deal with Tubi where most of those films are featured on Tubi. Now, are they stereotypical films? Sometimes. But do some of them have a message to them? Yeah. Do they try to do stuff different sometimes? Yeah. But at the end of the day, you know what what you're getting into when you see the title of the movie, or when you watch the movie, or when you watch the trailer. So you know what you're up against. Well, Terrence Howard at a point, sometimes you get to a point, Terrence Howard is in his 50s now. So maybe he at a point where he tired of faking it. Maybe he just tired of faking it. Maybe he just don't want to be part of that. And I feel like you should have the right My thing is, you should have the right to be able to turn down a role, and you shouldn't be blacklisted if you don't want to do certain things in a role. Why is it, like I say, I keep asking this question, why is it so important to put black men in dresses? Why is it so important to make black men play gay people in films? Why is that so important? Well, I don't know I don't know whether you were in film or not. So 8 Mile was the best Detroit film, period. I don't know if I agree with that, but you entitled to your opinion. Um, one of the best movies I seen about the city of Detroit was the movie called Detroit. That was directed by James Cameron's former wife, Catherine Bigelow. That was a real good movie. That was a real. I remember seeing that at the theater. It was a real good movie. But hey, you entitled to your opinion. So I wouldn't. I, I don't know if 8 Mile is the best movie about Detroit, but hey, I'm gonna say this again. You entitled to your opinion, but I'm just saying I think it's a lot of validity to what Terrence Howard is saying, because it goes on a lot. It is just this obsession, and the problem is if you say no, then all of a sudden you get labeled. Oh, he's difficult to work with. He's homophobic and all that kind of stuff. No, it's not homophobic. It's just called having, and that terminology is used way too much. Like I said, you cannot have a difference of opinion with them without them accusing you of something, accusing you of being phobic. Phobic is a fear. See, that's different. Phobic means fear, and nobody is afraid of them. It's just like I said, you cannot have a civil conversation with you. If you don't agree with them, then they label you. And that word is used far too much. You just saying, hey man, I don't want to kiss a guy. Why do I have to kiss a guy? But then again, when Terrence Howard said who was directing the movie, when he said Lee Daniels, well, I wasn't surprised by that. But the Marvin Gaye biopic has been in limbo for years. The last time I checked, I'm gonna say this again: his children has uh, control of the film. They appear to have control over any potential Marvin Gaye biopic because they said whoever gets a hold of it, they want it to be done right. Now, I never heard of. Oh well, I've been hearing. See, here's the thing, though. My thing is, people need to respect these dudes' privacies. If they didn't come out and say it on their own, then why put it in film? I've been hearing about Richard Pryor. I never heard about Marvin Gaye until until recently. Terrence Howard said he talked to Quincy Jones, and I'm trying to figure out how Quincy Jones seemed to know what everybody is doing. He kind of remind me of he kind of remind me of Whack 100, because Whack 100 seemed to be everywhere at he seemed to be everywhere. He knows all. He's witnessed everything. He just seems to have the inside on everything. So, and you've been hearing about Quincy Jones too. This is why they call it Holly Weird. But like I said, it got to the point to where the dress and the drag thing went from art to where it went to pushing a movement. And then they were specifically targeting black men. Like I said, every once in a while, you may see a white guy do it. Now they may be asking white dudes to do it because they want to keep pushing the movement. They want to find basically a prop, a white prop. See, so and so's doing it. So what? But here's the thing: when was the last time you saw a movie with Brad Pitt in a dress? When was the last time you saw George Clooney in a dress? You look at the characters they play. Most of the time, they're masculine white men, alpha white men. But with black men, you have, if you're not, living an alternative lifestyle, they want you to be timid. They want you to be a beta male, aka Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart plays the same character in every movie, and that's the problem. Now, Kevin Hart has tried different things, but it may be too little too late because he's typecast now. He always plays the lovable. What are you talking about? Like, dude, what are you talking about? Are you listening to the video? Did you not hear any? Bro, you do whatever you call yourself. You're trolling. Did you not just hear me the whole time say what Hollywood has been doing to black men? So you're not listening. You just heard me say Hollywood. You just heard me. You just heard me for the last 5 minutes say what Hollywood is doing to black men. Get the earwax out of your fucking ears. Is anybody listening to this video? Did y'all not hear me just say who I blame for this? Did y'all not just hear me point the finger at Hollywood? So if everybody else can comprehend English, why can't you do it, dude? I'm not being evasive. I flat out just flat out said that Hollywood bitch has an agenda against black men. I just said that Hollywood is ran by two people. I said Hollywood is ran by two groups of people. I just said the people with the small hats and the Skittles community. Bro, don't come on here trying to police my channel. You the one, dude, you the one that's trying to distract the conversation. Obviously, I'm touching a nerve. I just said I just said throughout this video who was doing this. I've done plenty of homework. Listen, I'm not, listen, dude, if you bothered by something that I'm saying, you need to, I don't know, you need to chillax or whatever, but obviously I'm triggering something. If something happened to you when you say you tried to be an actor or whatever the case may be, I don't have nothing to do with it, but I'm talking about it. But don't tell me how to conduct my channel. Don't tell me how to present stuff on my channel. No, you are disrespecting me, dude, because I am talking about it, but you telling me how to talk about it. This channel has one host, and that's me. Now I'm gonna politely ask you, politely to let me conduct my stream the way I see fit. Please. And I'm asking you nicely. If not, things happen. I'm going to bid you farewell, and I'm going to remove you from this channel. So I'm giving you a choice. Now, first and only warning. Okay, dude, you give all right, man. All right, enough. All right. But anyway, as I was saying, I wasted like at least 3 to 4 minutes basically giving this dude too much attention. But like I said, this has been an ongoing thing in Hollywood. And somebody has to call this out. This is why we need to remove ourselves from Hollywood. And a lot of, like I said, and a lot of these dudes are in on it. They doing the go along to get along. We need to start our own. We have the resources. We need to start our own Hollywood. Because one thing is we're not controlling our own narrative. I think it take nerve for a person not black to tell a black person how to be black. But we the only ones that let them get away with that stuff. You don't have, they don't tell Mexicans how to be Mexicans. They don't tell Asians how to be Asians. They don't tell Indians how to be Indians, the South Asian Indians, but they love trying to tell black people how to be black. So I don't blame Terrence Howard for calling this out because I do think people are getting sick of this because I'm getting sick of this. It's just an obsession with this thing about trying to and emasculate black men on camera. Like I said before, you just saw a shift. Like I said, after Norbit and stuff, you just started to see a shift. I did think it was art at one time, but then like now you just be like, okay, enough is enough. And then you get these people from that community, they come on these platforms and they try to criticize you. Listen, you have a right to say what you won't do in a film. And if somebody says, why is this so important? When you get established as an actor, you can say, you can go to the producer, you can go to you can go to the screenwriter, you can even go to the director and say, hey, can we take this out? Because a lot of times during the film, they have rewrites to the script and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just saying, you have a right. And the thing is with Terrence Howard, he should have played Smokey Robinson. I don't even think he a good fit. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even think he a good fit to play uh Marvin Gaye. The best dude that was like the best fit, I cannot remember what his name is, but he was the tall brother. They was they was inquiring about him. I forgot. I think he played on one of them Law and Order shows on NBC. His name is Jesse something, and he tall too, like Marvin Gaye. Because I think Marvin Gaye was listed at 6'1" or 6'2". I think he would have been the perfect guy to play Marvin Gaye, but now he's like in his 60s now. I think late 50s, 60s now. And like I said, the Marvin Gaye film has been in development hell for a while, just like you hearing these. She did predict that. She said this was gonna happen. So if she predicted like in the 70s or the 80s that this was gonna happen, then that means it's a plot. It's a plot to do this. And that's what people need to understand. And I'm gonna say this once again. I'm not bashing anybody. Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you. Jesse Martin. I thought he was the perfect guy to play Marvin Gaye, but now like he up there in age now, just like Mahershala Ali. Mahershala Ali, I don't know if y'all Mahershala Ali is the same age as me. Mahershala Ali was born in 74 like me. And that Blade movie has been in development hell for the past like few years because of rewrites. Because and once again, the Blade movie, they wanted to put some alternative lifestyle stuff in there allegedly. Because you know how Disney is about kind of stuff. They have an obsession with that kind of stuff. I never saw it. I never, well, we never, where is it then? Where is it then? Yeah, the Blade movie is in development hell as well because I know that they wanted to put some alternative lifestyle stuff in there, and they wanted to make it um have a women agenda theme in it too. So, basically they didn't been through like two directors. I don't even know when they have like a start date for principal photography, but that's what I'm saying. They are obsessed with this stuff. They are obsessed with this stuff, and in particularly putting black men in compromising positions. You're gonna have to treat it like how Nancy Reagan once said, just say no. But it can cost you. But I feel like this, you should have the right to say, hey, I'm not comfortable with doing this. Now, even though Dave Chappelle kind of like was dishonest because I saw that movie that he was in, but I guess maybe he didn't want to do it a second time. Now, remember when Dave Chappelle said that for Martin Lawrence Blue Streak, they wanted to straight put him in like drag, and he said, "Nah, I'm not doing it." He said they kept asking him about it. He said they kept asking him about it. He said they asked him like 3 times, and it got to the point to where he got a little aggressive on the set. And he was like, "Hey man, I told you I'm not putting on no dress," even though he had on an outfit similar to a dress. I forgot what movie it was. He said, "All right, bro, I said no." So after Dave Chappelle refused, and Dave Chappelle said after that happened, he said they kind of like started to put his name out there. And it's funny, you can get these white actors, they can, it's kind of like what went on with Sador Sanders. They can say what they will, what they won't do. Hey, take this out of the script, put this in the script. It's no problem for the most part. But if a black dude has a preference or he wants some stuff rearranged, then all of a sudden he's difficult to work with. He's a pain in the ass. Like I said, it's always a different set of standards. I understand that too, but let's not make it look like that they're not forcing people, that they're not antagonizing people, that they're like basically harassing dudes about this. Listen, I know plenty of people that act. I know plenty of people that direct films, that's doing films now on the independent circuit, that once wanted to get aligned with Hollywood. And they told me, and I need to let you know something. I'm a member. Listen, I'm not finna see, dude. You listen, I'm gonna say this again. I'm a member of the Teamsters Union. Okay. The Teamsters Union control Hollywood as far as you know, the sets and all that kind of stuff. So it's easy for me to make a couple of phone calls and I can get on a movie set. I know what I'm talking about. It's like you trying to be condescending. Yeah, but you trying to the problem that I had with you came on here to like try to debate with me, and you being condescending, and you getting on my fucking nerve. Okay? You're trolling. One thing that everybody knows, I don't talk about stuff that I don't know nothing about. So at the end of the day, you call yourself trying to be condescending. Listen, I don't know what happened to you when you tried to be an actor or something. I don't know if you had experience with Harvey Weinstein or somebody else, but trying to. Okay, well, why are you but why are you trying to argue with me? That's what I keep asking you. Why are you trying to argue with me about something that I know about my damn self? And I'm outspoken too. So what are you here for? Okay, what are you here for? No, I'm just saying, Hamza, he sitting up here, he want to argue. Like, you starting to show me signs that something happened to you when you was like trying to be an actor, and you try listen, dude, if you want to, listen, dude, if something happened to you when you was trying to be an actor or whatever the case, you need to get help. But you sitting up here talking about you know what I'm saying? That you standing, what is you standing your ground for? Like, what why are you standing your ground against me? You should be standing your ground against the industry. If you got a story to tell your story on your platform, but not on mine. What are you grandstanding against me for? I didn't do nothing to you. I'm just basically having a conversation about Howard. You must have met Terrence Howard or something. Maybe did Terrence Howard mistreat you or something? Well, I don't know. I don't know. You know, dude, you seem to be triggered by something. You seem to be triggered by something. I don't know why you get, you know, I don't know why you being so combative over what I'm talking about. I'm just saying why the combativeness? That's what I'm saying. Why are you sitting up here trying to, what I'm saying? Why are you responding in an aggressive, and you could sound kind of aggressive too. And you sound, the way you responded, you sound kind of angry. Listen, I'm just saying, dude. Well, I'm not talking about. All right, all right. Enough of this. Oh God, this dude. I tried to give him a chance. I tried to give him a chance, man. I tried to get a dude a chance, but he want to sit up here. He messing up the flow of the stream. I tried to give dude a chance, but this is what happens when you want to go back and forth. He's messing up the flow of the stream. Obviously, this dude is triggered by something. Now, dude, I'm gonna say this again. Whatever you went through when you was trying to be an actor, hey, if something happened to you, if you got compromised, I'll feel bad for you. But I can't let you keep interrupting the flow of the stream. But nevertheless, let's get back to basics. So, and I had heard of a Marvin Gaye film being shot. Period. Y'all know that I do this Hollywood stuff, and I keep track of this kind of stuff. So I haven't ever heard of a Marvin Gaye film ever being shot, or being, as they or as they say, being shelved. Well, Brian, he acting like it. I'm like, he was like being really like aggressive and combative. Like, bro, like, man, I'm not a counselor. I mean, you might need to talk to Dr. Cheyenne Brian about, like, I can't counsel you. You know, if somebody like that, I'm just saying he was being combative for no reason. Like, why you getting mad at me, bro? I'm just saying, you basically proving my point. Yeah, dude was tripping. But we'll say a prayer for him. Whatever your religion is, y'all say a prayer for that brother, because he seemed to need it. Because, yeah, something happened. something happened to him. But hope it works out for him. But yeah, as I was saying with the whole Terrence Howard thing. You didn't heard quite a few actors talking about that they didn't ask them to do something compromising, that they didn't feel comfortable doing. But I know this for a fact. And we have to ask each other, why, like for real, why are they so, yeah. What my thing is, why are they so fixated with, once again, with black men putting on dresses? I do know that some voluntarily do it. He must have, I don't know, maybe he must have, I don't know. He must have had experience with Harvey Weinstein or something. I don't know. Um, but yeah, the Terrence Howard thing is just disturbing on so many levels, because I didn't heard other actors talking about this, saying that, they didn't ask them to do stuff that they didn't feel comfortable doing. And another deeper element that we need to talk about in Hollywood that people have ran away from, if they are forcing these men to do compromising things that they're uh not comfortable doing, shouldn't that be considered assault? Shouldn't that be a form of sexual assault? I'm just saying, you guys. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying something not. This has just been going on for a while. And Terrence Howard, I noticed after Empire, and maybe that was the problem. Maybe he didn't feel comfortable after a while. Maybe he got tired of doing Empire, and then especially with the scandal with Jesse Smollett. So maybe he just decided, like, okay, I'm sick of this stuff. You have to understand, if you are a black actor, um, you have to, you basically have to a certain degree, you're at their, you're at their will. We know this goes on a lot when they ask. And the sad part about it is, they're not doing this just to women, they're doing this to men. So men are victims in this too. They just, but here's the thing, I wouldn't be so desperate for a role that I would do something that I know I'm not comfortable doing. It would get to the point where I'd just be like, nah, you know what? Mm-mm. I think to a certain degree it do. This is why a lot of people were bothered when they heard about the deal that basically Ryan Coogler struck. My thing is, why should he have full ownership of the film after a certain amount of years? I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to make a profit off this film, because the film only had a 6% drop. Usually films drop anywhere from sometimes anywhere from 30 to sometimes 50%. There's been movies that drop 60%. This was a movie that's really heavily relying on word of mouth, and it's doing you know and it's doing very well. I saw the movie, I'm thinking about seeing it twice, but I'm gonna say this again, you guys. Are you sure you want to deal with that? Are you sure you want to be at somebody's beck and call? You sure you want to be, you sure you want to deal with something like that? Yeah, they've always had an issue with black masculinity on film. To a certain degree, they'll let you be the hero for all so long. Somebody talked about that too. I cannot remember. I don't know if it was Anthony Mackie or somebody. I think Anthony Mackie brought that up too, that they try to do that in Hollywood. Like, it's sort of like they give a guy a turn or something. They want once again, they want to control the real estate. It's sort of like interchangeable. They switch you out, for this guy, and then they switch this guy out for that guy. And it's sort of like, like what they've been doing forever. But I'm gonna say this again. I mean, the proof is pudding. You look at all these shows, it's almost mandatory that they want to have some black gay guy in almost every TV show or some movie. And then it just get to the point where it's like, damn, they always asking black men to do this stuff. And then you get some of these dudes that'll give you some answer that'll just be like, what? And then they'll try to pull the same stuff that the people from that community pull, say, man, black people need to stop being so. No, we're not homophobic. We're just saying, damn, can we like have a choice? There's a difference between, representation and then trying to force feed something on us. A lot of times what they've been doing is trying to force feed this shit on us. And this is why people are getting pissed. This is why people are saying, hey man, enough of this. It's not just Terrence Howard that spoke out about this. It's been other actors as well saying this is why they basically like started to fade out of Hollywood, why they started to get out of Hollywood, because they got sick and tired of this type of stuff being presented to them. Now, once again, Terrence Howard should have already knew what to expect with Lee Daniels. I'm gonna say this again. I'm not a Lee Daniels fan. I don't like Lee Daniels at all. I'm gonna say this once again. It's not because of the lifestyle he lives. It's something that Lee Daniels said that it was so out of pocket. It was so out of pocket to where I was like, oh wow, damn. He basically, how can I say this? He basically talked about, I'll say this, he basically talked about intentionally trying to give people the gift that you can't get that you can't get rid of. He said he intentionally went out hoping that, basically, give the gift that you can't get rid of. Now I don't know if I don't know if he isn't or if he ain't, but he said that in an interview. He said when he was going through depression, so he basically was saying he was going to try to take as many people. He was saying he hoped that he catches something and he could take as many people with him as possible. So when I heard him say that, I said, damn. I was like, man, I'm cool on you. Yeah, at first you could tolerate it, and like I'm gonna say this again, Hamza, you could tolerate it, but then sometimes they just go too far. Just like if you look at Tyler Perry shows, he has an obsession with that. He has a obsession with that, Tyler Perry, but he's supposed to be this devoted Christian. Shouldn't that be against your beliefs? But at the end of the day, we know Tyler Perry is a Hollywood puppet. He's always have been, and he always will be. Some people don't even believe he owned that studio. Well, Tyler Perry has always, for the most part, demonized, in particularly black men in his film. Now, Tyler Perry, from what I've been told, that he had a traumatic experience when he was younger. So um I guess it was via the hands of a black man or something. And then Oprah, she had a traumatic experience. We all know what happened to Oprah. So this is why that they this is why they target this is why sometimes people have accused them of being blackmail bashers. So um at the end of the day, you can't just categorize every black man, because every black man don't fit that mold. I mean, I don't know what that means. I don't know what the legislature. I have no idea what that means. But yeah, Tyler Perry, he been demonizing black men. If you look at his movies, he demonizes black men, and he's been called out for that too. And then his response is always some condescended response, but um, yeah, um, but yeah, if you look at the stuff that Tyler Perry puts out, it's like, damn, dude, can you make one? And then and I'm gonna tell you about Tyler Perry. His movies have pretty much the same element. It's just basically it's just different actors. He doesn't do anything different. You already know what to expect with a Tyler Perry film. Um, Naive black woman meets evil black man. He mistreats her. She wises up at the end. He either ends up dead or in jail. The end. And then that's pretty much the premise of the next Tyler Perry movie, except they may be in different professions. That is the premise of his movies. He doesn't do anything different. So that's it. That's all. But anyway, you guys, appreciate y'all being here. This your boy Town. I'm out.